Hello and welcome inside the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. Back at you after UFC Qatar. Just wrapped up. Right now I'm in Dubai. I don't know if you guys saw in past videos or streams. I said that I'd be on vacation when we did this recap. I am on vacation. It is 12:30 a.m. in the morning, Monday, November 24th, as we're recording this. But I did get the chance to experience UFC Qatar live in the flesh. It was awesome, awesome event. In my opinion, the best fight night of the year. I think it's up there with UFC France. In my opinion, I think this was just an amazing card top to bottom. We had some real breakout performances that we'll get into. Definitely some brutal knockouts, especially on the main card. Some real prospects that are moving up. Some prospects moving down. Some career setbacks that we'll get into. Your boy went 11-3 on predictions, so definitely riding high. But yeah, main event, Arman Tsarukyan looked like an absolute menace. Co-main, Machado Garry put on a career-defining performance against Belal Muhammad. And to top it off, we even got some action after the fights. I don't know if you guys saw on social media, but Yakhyaev and Garry were getting into it. And Khamzat ended up shoving Garry, which we'll get into that situation when we talk about the Garry and Belal fight. But Chris, from your perspective, you obviously went through all the fights as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this card as a whole, man? This was awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I thought it was definitely really good. I think it lived up to the hype and even surpassed it. Sadly, I was not able to watch it as it was going on. I was briefly checking in and out. I was at the Yale Bowl watching Yale take down Harvard in FCS conference championship play. They won the Ivy League for the 5th time in 8 years. So that was pretty awesome. My cousin is the athletic trainer there. So yeah, I mean, for me, I had to go back and sit down last night and watch it. And it was actually a quick watch because there were a lot of quick finishes. There were also some late finishes as well. Some really inspired performances by some of these fighters. And a lot of the debuts, these guys made the most of it. The first fight wasn't great between Denzel Freeman and Marek Bujlo. Bujlo. Yeah. I know. Bujlo, I don't know. Marek. We're going to call him Marek or Marek. Yeah, so look, I think Freeman looked good, and then you had a returner in Kyoji Horiguchi who that guy is different. He's 35 and still on top of the world. I mean, we mentioned before, he was 10-1 before in the UFC in the flyweight division, only lost to Demetrius Johnson, comes back, beats a top 12 flyweight in the world in Tagir Ulanbekov, and not even beats him.
Dominates.
He dominated him. He smoked him at the end too. But yeah, great performance. Garry, good, great performance. Tsarukyan, think that boy's getting a title shot. So yeah, I thought it was good, and I'm really glad you got to experience it too. Shrikar had a really good time. He was texting us saying, "Yo, who'd you sit next to? Didn't you sit next to Toporia's family?"
I'll get into it when we get to Alexandre's fight, but we were sitting next to the Topuria family and his manager, which was really interesting. Definitely one of the craziest fight experiences I've ever had, but we'll get into it. If you enjoy the video, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, share the video, help us out with the algorithm. Obviously, we appreciate your guys' support on each and every video. This one is going to be no different. But let's get right into it. We're going to go top to bottom. So we'll start with the fight that we just mentioned, Marek Bujlo and Denzel Freeman. Let's be real, man. This fight had no business being on a UFC card.
It should have been a contender series fight.
Even if it was a contender series fight, Dana would have just walked backstage after and he'd been like, thanks for the rounds, boys. But yeah, no, we're not signing either of you. Absolutely not. I will say Freeman did what he needed to do on short notice, stayed long, outstruck Bujlo, won a low output kickboxing match. But Bujlo, I mean, you look at all his pictures, he looked like he was carved out of granite, and then he walks into the cage and he looks like a s'more. Like, he looks horrible. I mean, the man's shoulders were just dead on arrival. So
yeah,
he came undefeated with this Polish grappling background, the jiu-jitsu. He was a jiu-jitsu black belt. Nothing showed. Couple of judges saw it 29-28, but trust me, nothing about this screamed to me, UFC heavyweight. And it's kind of been like that with a lot of fights, but this one especially was very bad. Still, we'll give props to Freeman. He stepped up, got his hand raised. A win's a win, but this is one we will not be going back to.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was very unimpressed by Bujlo in this fight, and it was kind of the performance that I was expecting. He just did not look very comfortable on the feet, even in moments where Freeman presented opportunities to take him down, and vice versa. Bujlo presented Freeman with opportunities to take him down. No one wanted to do it. It just seemed like they were content with, bouncing around on the feet, landing some inside leg kicks, the occasional, I wouldn't even say big punch, like a medium-sized punch.
Yeah,
I mean, Freeman,
a lot of leg kicks,
a lot of leg kicks, and they were good leg kicks too. I don't know why they did. I don't know why they didn't, really harp on that and continue on that, because every time someone landed a heavy inside leg kick, it would almost kick the leg out from under their opponent. So, I mean, if you kept on that, obviously you would have compromised the movement. I think Freeman definitely looked like the better fighter. You saw that in his fluidity, just his hands, his combinations. He looked a lot more comfortable on the feet than Bujlo did. But yeah, you're right. This was not a fight that really should have been on a fight night of this magnitude, I would say. This could have been, a sloppy Apex scrap for all I really care. And, buried on a card that no one's really going to watch, in my opinion.
Again, even if this was Contender Series, I would have been ashamed.
No, yeah, exactly. I agree. I definitely agree. And they wouldn't have got a contract if it was on Contender Series. So, yeah, interesting. I think it's a good learning curve for maybe Denzel Freeman. Bujlo, I don't even know what to do with him, and if I'm being completely honest. Freeman obviously has the comp. He has the experience. He's an LFA heavyweight champ. We've seen a lot of good prospects come over from LFA. They have the whole deal with the UFC and Fight Pass and everything. So he also fought in the PFL. So, I'm going to give him a little, I'm going to not be as harsh on him as I am on Bujlo, because he also took it on pretty short notice, and, he did what he needed to do. So yeah, it was interesting. Definitely a first fight of the night on the card. I would have been pretty upset.
100%. And we'll move on from this one rather quickly. In terms of matchmaking, you said it, Chris. I don't know what to do with Marek. I really don't. With Denzel Freeman, the unranked heavyweight pool is pretty shallow. Just give him another name there. We'll see how he does.
I think I know what to do with Marek.
Yeah.
Gone.
It's tough to see it after one fight, but he showed me nothing.
Yeah,
he showed
absolutely
me nothing.
Zilch.
But someone that did show me something, Nurullo Aliev beating Shamrock by decision in Shamrock's debut. I think this was a phenomenal outing from Nurullo Aliev. He took the first 2 rounds clean, handled a more aggressive Rock in the third, just looked much sharper overall. Chris, what do you think overall of Aliev's performance? I thought this was way better than what we saw against Solecki.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He looked good. He looked very aggressive and intent on taking Shamrock down and just displaying all of his tools at his disposal. And Shamrock, he had his moments. I think I saw Patty in his corner, right? Isn't he a teammate of Patty's?
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw Patty in his corner. I thought it was, he did what he needed to do to survive. But, I mean, I feel like Nurullo Aliev really lived up to the name of, like, mini Habib. He was just very aggressive and really not content on standing there for more than 5 to 10 seconds at a time. He was just full pedal to the metal, and it really showed. And the guy has a chin. He can take it to the ground. He once he clasps his hands, he is strong, man. He can really just drag you down into deep waters. He can body throw you. Once he gets a body lock, it's very hard to get out of that. So I think it was actually a really tough first matchup for Shamrock, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm not giving up on him. I still think he's a very good fighter, and that he can still, shake up a little bit the lightweight division. But I think it just goes to show how good Aliev is and what he's made of, and the ceiling that he has.
Yeah, this was the best version of Aliev we have seen on the feet, at least. Good MMA boxing, clean stance switches, nasty kicks. He even shut down Rock's wrestling, which was a terrible idea from Shamrock to lean on anyway. I don't know why.
Yeah, I would have struck with him.
It's just unfortunate timing. He's improving fast, but he's already fighting tough guys instead of lower tier matchups where he could build hype. I'm talking about Shamrock. his rep might be set already, but he has the skills to run through mid-level opponents. Credit to Shem for hanging in there. But again, Aliev's boxing is sharper. His grappling is still solid. After shutting down, a hot new prospect, now feels like the perfect time to match him with, a legit veteran. So the name I was thinking for Nurullo Aliev is Joaquim Silva. I think that would be the perfect kind of fight for him. Again, you want that vet test for him. I think he fits that role perfectly. This is a legit veteran. So I'm all in for Nurullo Aliev versus Joaquim Silva next. I think that should be essentially the next step up, because Aliev has shown, he can beat these prospects. How is he going to do against, a veteran like Joe Solecki that's a little bit more elevated?
Yeah, no, I agree. I am all for it. I think Joaquim Silva would be a good test. Someone who's a good grappler and also has very dangerous hands too. And he showed that in his last fight against Claudio Puelles. So I think, I think that's a good test for him. And Joaquim Silva is also a really tough guy. So if you can get him out of there or dominate him, I think that'll really be a nice notch on your belt for Nurullo Aliev.
100%. Aliev has looked like he's leveled up big time. Can't wait to see what he does in the future. Let's go to Ismail. Naurdiev knocking out Ryan Loder in the first round. Just like that, Naurdiev sleeps Ryan Loder. Now that we look back on it, I picked Loder, but it's kind of wild that the odds were even close. Loder has clearly proven he is not UFC level, and Naurdiev has been giving genuinely good fighters problems for a while now, including Jun-Young Park in the last fight before Loder. He's looked better every time out. I will say though, let's take a look at, the haircut. The haircut was a little different. It didn't look exactly like
he had like the slick back in the front and then kind of just like the fro in the back. It was low-key tough. I kind of liked it.
I'm going to see if I can find a picture of it, because in my opinion, it didn't look good. I thought it was a terrible haircut.
Maybe I thought it was tough. Kind of looked like I don't know. He looks scary. I like this haircut in his cutout. He kind of looks like the Joker there.
Let's see here. So yeah, I'm like, it's just, I don't think the front and back really match that well, but when this is the picture of the fight, I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. This was a great performance. Overall, I was very impressed. Again, Naurdiev is a guy that's always improving, always has kind of consistently gotten better. This was no doubt a great performance. He had the faster hands, saw the opening he wanted, and ended it clean. Simple as that.
Was he wearing a headband?
Let me check again. I don't think he was.
I have a picture up. I'll share my screen. It's kind of blurry, but
I don't believe he was wearing a head. Maybe he was. See, this is why it's such a bad haircut. Like, I just don't know what he's going for. Let me see. Okay, let me remove this one. Boom.
I don't know. It kind of looks like he's wearing a headband.
Can we like size the image out to like fully, and then we can just zoom in on it?
Oh no, what is happening? I don't know what's happening.
But I kind of see the outline of it.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know you could do that in the UFC. I don't know you could wear headbands. I feel like that's dangerous.
Why would it be dangerous?
What if it like snaps?
Then there's just a headband on the ground.
You right?
There's no way in a combat sport we're worried about a headband snapping. Yeah,
you're right. That was kind of boneheaded on my part. Dude, Loder got absolutely smoked. I lone wolf this one too, and I was pretty confident in it, because I think, I don't know, I was just like, when Loder's put up against someone that is going to give him problems very quickly and in a area where he's not really experienced, like, it took 1:26 seconds for it pretty much took almost 30 seconds to 45 seconds for Naurdiev to put Loder in panic mode and get him backing up. And dude, that overhand was nasty. That's like something that you land in the UFC video game on someone. Like that flatlined him. And yeah, like you said, Trikar, I mean, Naurdiev's been giving legit UFC fighters problems. Like he should have beat Jun Young Park if he wasn't boneheaded and had terrible illegal fouls on the ground. And then the momentum switched and Jung Young Park was able to dominate him. I think he also gassed himself out in that. But yeah, dude, the talent is there. Like this guy is good. He has very good striking. So it was, I would say I wasn't surprised to see what he did to Ryan Loder yesterday. I thought it was pretty nice. And for his next fight, I'm not really sure who I want to give him. Like low key, I kind of want to see this. I give him Marco Tulio.
Okay.
I want to see some more hands flying.
Yeah, this is a chance for Naurdiev to build that rebound. Obviously, since coming back to the UFC, he was on a skid recently, but now he's getting better. I want to give him Andre Petroski. Petroski's in a rough stretch, man. I think Naurdiev can really lock down a fresh contract with a strong performance here because he has one fight left, if I'm correct.
Yep.
So if he can get it done against Petroski, which early pick, I think he will. I think he will get it done. That's a really strong statement. So
I agree.
Even with the recent skid since coming back to the UFC, Naurdiev is fun and unpredictable in this division. Definitely a great performance, sleeping Loder out cold. So let's move on to this fight. Bekzat Almakhan and Alexandre Topuria. Topuria gets it done by decision. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I was sitting next to Topuria's family for this fight.
That's so electric.
It's crazy because it's a completely different perspective when you're watching with a fighter's family because the emotions that you may be feeling through the screen just gets amplified 30 to 40 times over, even when you're in the presence of a fighter's family. Like, it's somehow you just don't want to see them lose. It's just how it is. And obviously, I'm a big fan of the entire Topuria family as it is. So getting the opportunity to sit next to them and watch their reactions in real time was a really, really cool experience for me. And I told everyone if Sandre could mix in takedowns, he would completely change how this fight looks. And holy heck, it worked to perfection. He didn't even need to dominate on the ground. Just the threat of the takedown shut down Bekzat's offense completely.
Yeah, I agree. For this fight, I think I kind of just I picked the Bekzat. I lone wolf this one as well. I think I kind of just wanted to be different. Not really sure. I thought, I don't know, but I kind of did a little bit more of looking into the lines rather than looking into the fighters. And I'm not saying I didn't look into the fighters. I 100% looked into the fighters. I think I was kind of engrossed in what Bekzat did in his last fight by starching Brad Katona in the first round and Topuria's somewhat lackluster fight, his decision victory in his last fight. And I forgot who he fought, and I'll look that up right now. It doesn't matter, though. I mean, I think also I was kind of on the train of, everyone's going to pick Topuria because of his brother and not because of what he can do. But really watching that fight, dude, he is a bulldozer at bantamweight. That man is massive. He might be short and on the shorter side, but he is built like a tank. And yeah, like you said, Shrikar, he mixed in the takedowns beautifully. And my whole point in the prediction video was, we're going to see more of a freestyle wrestling versus a Greco-Roman wrestling. And we're going to see how that works. And clearly in this, Greco-Roman won because once Alexandre was able to get on top and just even get control, once he locked his hands, you saw the power that he was able to, use in those situations. And it was dominant, man. I mean, Bekzat did a solid job on the feet. He just couldn't stop the takedown and even get back up. And he was getting worked on the ground. So I was debating giving him that first round, but after I look at it, I switched my mind to saying it was 30-27 Topuria, because even though Bekzat landed more on the feet and everything, once Ilya got, oh my God, I'm going to keep calling him Ilya. Once Topuria, all right, just call him Topuria. His name is Topuria. Once Topuria got control on the ground, he was actually working towards ground and pound and trying to be as active as he could instead of, just laying on him for a minute or so. So yeah, I would say I gave it a 30-27 after initially saying it would be a 29-28. But yeah, solid performance, man. I'm excited to see him at bantamweight. He's powerful too and fast. He's a lot faster than I thought.
Yeah, Topuria stood tall, poked him with stiff jabs, rocked him multiple times, completely owned the real estate battle, you know? And guys, you heard it before from me. This guy is so legit. Topuria is legit. He is Ilya's brother, so the hype is baked in, but he actually backed it up here. Almakhan was one of the top rising names in this division, and Topuria handled him like a tune-up fight, you know? So I thought this was super impressive. My matchup, Alexandre Topuria versus Cody Garbrandt. It's the right name. It is the right style. I think it is the right time to do this fight. Let's fast track Alexandre Topuria. He is ready for what this fight would bring. Alexandre Topuria versus Cody Garbrandt should be next, in my opinion.
I like it. I like it. I think that's that'd be a very fun striking matchup, and I early pick Cody ain't stopping those takedowns. So
yeah, I would pick Sandre in that matchup too.
Yeah, I think. Is that what they call him? Does he go by Sandre
or Alex? Apparently.
Oh,
I really don't know. Sandre just has a very, very nice ring to it.
Yeah, I like Sandre. I keep accidentally calling him Ilya, so I need something else to call him. They look very similar when they're in the octagon. It's
really?
Just Ilya has darker hair.
Well, in the octagon, yeah, I think looks wise they don't look the same.
They have the same back tattoo. Well, yeah, no, in like their face is different, but in the octagon, if you just see the back of their head, Ilya has darker hair, but they have the same build, the same type of hair, and they have the same back tattoo.
I tend to think Alexandre looks more like Conor McGregor.
Wait, does Ilya have that back tattoo?
Yeah, he does. They both do.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
I don't know. I was looking at it, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I was just looking a little too hard into it, but I saw glimpses of him. I saw glimpses of Ilya in there, and his fighting style too. Very nice.
100%. I think they both move with that same stance, that same forward pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, great performance from Alexandre Topuria. This is going to be a guy to watch out for in the future. I think he can hang with the top 10 at bantamweight as it stands right now. Let's move on to Abdul-Rakhman.
This guy's insane. This guy is
putting
insane.
away Cerqueira in 30 seconds. This was a squash match completely. UFC just fed Cerqueira to the wolves.
They just alley-ooped him.
Wasn't you that told us like the submission was live? And boom, clean submission right after dropping him with a head kick. I think it was either you or no, Sam picked him.
Sam picked him by sub.
By submission. So he got that
right. I said he was going to kill him in the first round, and it was the first 30 seconds. Yeah.
But I think the sub prop was like +3 something.
Yeah, it was pretty hefty. I mean, he didn't have to sub him. It was more of the Kyle Dawkins, Gerald Mearshart thing where it was like, all right, he's on the floor. What do I want to do? You know what? Let me just body lock him and then pick him up, mat return him, and then just jump on his neck for no reason when I could just kill him.
Yeah, I mean, Yakhyaev is only 24. He's 6'2", long, athletic, powerful, already showing a grappling and striking ability. At light heavyweight, that combo can take you places fast. I'll say that. He still needs tests, but guys like Tuco Tokos or a Brendison Ribeiro, those make perfect sense next, in my opinion. As for Cerqueira, pick up the phone, man. Karate Combat is calling. That UFC door is closing, but another one will open for you, and it'll be Karate Combat. So I would definitely look into that, brother. But next for Yakhyaev, I definitely want to see him versus Tuco Tokos or Ribeiro. I think those two would be not layups in the sense that, yes, he should run through them. He should. But these are guys that at least give you something in return. Rafael Cerqueira is just kind of like a punching bag at this stage.
I agree. I was thinking someone like a little more of like a vet, like my guy Jan Kudalaba. He's a tough guy too. So
yeah, I think if they really want to fast track him, Kutelaba would probably be next.
But yeah, I'm impressed. I have nothing else to say about this guy. I put him in my top 3 power rankings, in my top 3 in the power rankings of Dana White Contender Series, and brother is living up to it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yakhyaev. You are awesome.
Yeah, he looked really, really good. Anything else to say on this? I mean, this was a really, really quick one. We were both, Chris obviously way higher on Yakhyaev than I am.
He proved it too. I mean, I feel like they gave him a layup and bro slam dunked it.
Yeah, this is exactly how you handle that's how you handle being a minus 1,600 favorite.
Yeah,
going
leave nothing to the imagination.
And for those who decided to touch the Cerqueira line, I'm sorry, there's just no way I was going to do it, even in my good mind.
Yeah.
But let's move on here. Alex Perez and Asu Almabayev. Almabayev gets it done by not standing, I guess mounted guillotine, because it wasn't really a standing guillotine. Oh. But props to Perez, man. He looked good early in the fight. Round 2 especially. He was landing good shots, stuffed some entries. It looked like he might actually pull the upset. But round 3, he gets elevated. Almakhan, or not Almakhan, Almabayev, Ron Kazakhstani. He kind of just jumps on him. Very, very smooth transition. And Perez gets choked out by a high-level grappler. Tough loss because he actually was competitive, but flyweight is just a ruthless division. It really is. For Almabayev, he is legit. He is super legit. Very strong grappling, good pressure, very methodical. I think he should fight Tim Elliott next. I think it's a perfect style clash, perfect ranking, perfect tempo for the rise that he is on. Obviously, we're not that far removed from his loss to Manel Kape, which is why I still have him fighting down. But Tim Elliott, I'd like to see that. For Perez, I'm thinking maybe a Bruno Silva or like a Joseph Morales. He's still dangerous. I think he just needs a winnable bounce back. And I think Silva or Morales would present that for him. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of a next matchup. But Asu Almabayev, this guy is for real, 100%.
I like the Tim Elliott fight. I mean, I literally texted after the second round in our group chat. I said, man, Asu is trash. What is he doing, bro? And I think that's just credit to Alex Perez of, coming back and after all the layoffs and injuries, really just showing up ready to fight, especially against someone of the stature of Almabayev. And not that Almabayev's a world beater, but he's a good competitor. He's a pressure fighter. He pushes a good pace. And if you haven't been in that octagon for a long time, I mean, it might be hard to keep up. And if anything, Alex Perez was setting the pace. He was on Almabayev. He was throwing the leg kicks. He looked fast. And he was really giving Asu a lot of trouble. And he just made a really bad mistake in the third round. I don't know what he was doing, rushing in, kind of like a chicken with his head cut off, but he ran right into that guillotine. And then obviously Asu was like, thank you. Watch this. Let me end the fight. Ended the fight. I was very upset. I was disappointed for Perez because it really looked like he was trending towards winning that fight, or at least giving himself a very solid chance on the scorecards. But Asu pulling it out of the fire, showing that, that he can do that. I feel like everyone thought this fight was going to go to decision. Well, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I might be everyone because I thought it was going to decision. But yeah, I think that Asu's good. I mean, he really is. If he keeps getting wins over vets like Alex Perez, that's why I think a Tim Elliott fight would be good. We just saw what Tim Elliott did to Kai Asakura, who, I was high on. I'm sure a lot of other people were high on him too. And then it's kind of like a young prospect, and Kai's not young, but he's new to the UFC, so he's a young UFC prospect coming in fighting a grizzled vet who has a bunch of tools in his book, or like tools in his belt. And then Asu, I feel like, would benefit from that, because if he can beat Tim Elliott and do it dominantly, then I'm going to have no worries about him in the future. So yeah, I think Tim Elliott's the fight to make right there.
Let's move right on to our upset of the night. Let's talk about this one, man.
Dude,
Nicolas
what
Dalby.
happened? I also did. I didn't watch this fight. I was too upset that he lost.
Yeah. Dalby is 41 years old and still fighting like a man who jogs through thunderstorms for fun. He just refuses to go away, man. Close fight. I scored it 29-28 Izagakhmaev, but I'm also not dying on that hill. It was competitive, messy. I think Dalby's weird pressure clinch style clearly threw Saygid off. But yeah, Dalby should get someone solid next. No more debut guys. I think we're past that for him. I like Dalby versus Uros Medic. You know, a wild striker versus, you know, a demon in the clinch who is super gritty like Dalby. As for Saygid, he'll be fine. I just think this was kind of like a rude awakening for him. Just getting Dalby, no matter what his age is, getting Dalby as your debut, it's always going to be a tough fight. And I think if you give Saygid someone like Daniel Frunza, something like that,
Frunza.
I think that's a winnable matchup for him. So I guess that's what I do next. But Dalby, man, Unk still got it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fight. I was in traffic with no service. I looked at some of the stats on the stat sheet. It looked like Izagakhmaev probably won off control and takedowns. But obviously the box score does not.
Which is crazy because we were in Qatar, so you would think
exactly
a decision like this would swing in his way. But hey.
Right, I thought they like wrestling over there. I don't know. Clearly not enough, but yeah, I mean, Dalby is tough as ever. I mean, this guy has a crazy chin. That's why him getting knocked out by Randy Brown in his last fight was like, wow, oh my God, what happened to Nicolas Dalby? And Izagakhmaev, I don't really know what to say about him in this performance. I mean, I'm not giving up on him because I still think he's a very good fighter. But yeah, I think he kind of just ran into a mini buzzsaw in Nicolas Dalby. I mean, this guy is a killer and he's scary and he doesn't give up and he really just puts pressure on you for 15 minutes. So I'm not really sure. I definitely need to go back and watch this fight because I need to score it for myself. I saw a lot of people saying that Izagakhmaev got robbed. And then I would say 30% of people were saying, no, Dalby won the fight. So, yeah, MMA Twitter is all over the place. So I try not to, take it to heart. And I just always take everything with a grain of salt. But even on Verdict, I started using the Verdict app to score fights and see what other people score their fights because it's a lot different than just going on Twitter. And I believe most people scored the fight for Izagakhmaev. I'm checking right now. Let's go to global. Actually, no, they did score it for Dalby. They gave him round 1 and 3. So, Verdict? Yeah, on Verdict.
Yeah, obviously, if you guys are not familiar with Verdict, it's kind of like an aggregate. A bunch of people will go in and they'll kind of score it.
Yeah, they just average it out between everyone's score. Like you just give someone a 10, a 9, or a 10 and 8, or whatever.
In some cases, it can be helpful. I tend not to use it just because, I'm never in a situation where I need it. I just kind of watch fights and I'm like, this guy won a round. Cool.
No, so I started using it because I like to keep track of my own things, so I don't have to keep in my head like whatever, and then I can look back and say, oh, okay, I scored this fight, that, and then
definitely helpful in that regard.
I like getting XP.
Yeah, but to be fair, this was a split decision, so a judge did have this for Saygid. Close fight though. Again, I had it for Izagakhmaev, but the fact that Dalby won does not shock me. I'm not completely against it. It was just kind of a whatever fight from both guys, but Dalby did end up getting it done. And let's see Dalby and Medic, man. I really want to see that fight now. Yeah. I think that would be an absolute banger. Feature prelim. Chris, our boy has arrived.
Dude, he's insane.
Our boy Luke Riley has arrived.
The bloody mudder.
What you got, man? This was okay. So for context, I ended up switching over to Riley. If you guys looked at our Instagram socials down below, if you guys looked at our Instagram, I switched from Bogdan Grad to Luke Riley. I could not go against my boy. I just couldn't do it. I hyped up Luke Riley for so long, and if I did the same thing with Axel Sola during UFC France, where I picked Reese McKee to beat Axel Sola because I was like, I really like this guy, but how is he going to do in the UFC? With Luke Riley, I was like, okay, if I'm really high on this guy and I think he should be in the UFC, he should be able to beat UFC level competition. Bogdan Grad gave this guy hell, Luke Riley is here. I'm very glad I made the switch. I would have been a lone dog on Grad. But Chris, what did you think about the performance as a whole?
That little hook was nasty. It wasn't even a little hook. That was a flatlining hook. Yeah, that. Whoo. Very impressed. He, didn't even really have to do what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to have to fight for his life on these takedowns. He was even on top for a period of time. And I just think that Bogdan Grad he's a solid fighter. He's tough, but I don't know. He just feels a little one-dimensional sometimes, and that I think he needs to really work on his striking to be a threat, because when you have a guy standing across from you like Luke Riley, who is a very, very good striker, it's going to cause you problems all day long. And if you can't throw something back to get him to respect what you have in your arsenal, then he's just going to march forward and he'll stand in the pocket with you and clip you because he's not scared of what's coming back at him. So I'm very happy that I saw Luke Riley do that, man. He has arrived. He is awesome. And yeah, he's gonna cause problems at featherweight, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. And what do I say? These Cage Warrior boys, they come to fight, bro. They do not care. They are everyone except for, I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Harry Hardwick. He was on short notice. He probably would have lost the fight anyway, but it wasn't the performance that he probably could have put up. Everyone else, bro, they come over to the UFC and they are seasoned veterans, man. Like that, I feel like that is one of the best promotions outside the UFC to really come from. And it's shown. I mean, look, we got Paddy Pimblett, Ian Gary, so many other people.
Poirier came from Cage Warriors.
Poirier?
Ilya.
Oh, Ilya. Taporia. Yeah, I was like, Poirier. What? Yeah, Ilya came from Cage Warriors. Like, dude, it's insane. It's a pipeline. So yeah, I mean, just add another one to the list. Luke Riley is a dog.
Yeah, he clearly dropped round one, then came back, timed a perfect combo, pressured like crazy once it hit the mat. Boom, fight's over. Grad is not an easy guy to put out. He's not an easy guy to put out. So for Riley to do that, one, shows legit finishing ability, but also serious adaptability, which in the UFC is such a very, very key skill to have. This guy's future is bright. I've hyped him up enough. He is going to be so good in the UFC, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. He looks like he's only going up from here. I'd love to see him back in action in Sydney for UFC 325. Put this guy on a pay-per-view, even if it's on the prelims. Put him, or a numbered card, I should say. Even if it's on the prelims, put him on a numbered card. And if we're doing it in Sydney, how about Luke Riley versus Jack Jenkins? I think Jenkins is exactly the kind of proven striker who can test him without slowing down that momentum. You gave him a wrestler, well, kind of a hybrid in Bogdan Grad. But with Jack Jenkins, you're giving him a pure striker. I think this would be fireworks all around, and I think it would be perfect for Jenkins's home of Sydney, Australia, or I guess home area. So if you're going to do that and you're going to put him against an Australian, I think it makes the most sense. And not too bad of a turnaround either. So that's what I'd go next for Luke Riley. I know what you're thinking.
No, I like that. I like that. I think that'll be a really fun scrap. Give him another tough guy, and he's putting the lights out there.
Yeah,
I don't know what this guy can do next.
Yeah. I mean, an absolutely thunderous UFC debut from Luke Riley, and an unbelievable return to action for Kyoji Horiguchi.
What I say?
Submitting Tagir out cold in round 3. Chris was the lone wolf on this. He called it all the way through.
Yeah, I accidentally put Sam as taking Horiguchi, so I guess I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but I was technically the only lone wolf. Yeah, he's back, bro. He back like he never left.
Submitting Tagir like that, man.
Dude, his only loss in the UFC is Demetrius Johnson. That's insane.
Look, I was hoping Kyoji would win, but I never thought that he was going to show that level against Tagir.
I agree.
Outclassed him on the feet, mounted him, tapped him. Ridiculous performance.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Performance. Moreno versus Tyra winner should get the next title shot, but right after that, give me Kyoji Horiguchi versus the winner of Kopp and Royval. That is absolutely the fight to make. That is your next title eliminator.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, I mean, he honestly, I know he just beat 11. I think he should be a top 10 flyweight right now.
Easily.
He's 35. He just came back to the UFC and beat one of the better flyweights in the world.
Tagir's never been finished.
Yeah, never been finished. First of all, that body kick right before the submission was like a chef's kiss. That was, oh my God, it was thunderous. It dropped him. It shut him down. Yeah, I think Kyoji Horiguchi, he's back in a big way. Super, super, super excited to see what he's gonna do. And dude, who knows? He called out Pantoja, who's his teammate. He said, "Give me Pantoja." That's crazy.
A reverse Aspinall situation.
Yeah, like he wants to fight his teammate. And dude, if he fights like that against Pantoja, considering Pantoja getting past Josh Van in a few weeks, that would be an insane fight. Especially because they're teammates, they know each other's ins and outs. Pause. But yeah, I mean, that'll be a scrap, man. I'm actually so happy that Kyoji Horiguchi's back, and I maybe he should have never left, but might have done him some good. He went to Rizin and won and really went through the ringer a little bit. But he got some good wins too. He's beaten Kaya Sakura. He's beaten Sergio Pettis. Now he comes back and beats Tagir Ulanbekov by domination.
And when we look back at it, like even the Patchy Mix fight, which people like to bring up that he lost, Patchy Mix really outsized him.
Exactly. He went up to bantamweight for that.
Yeah, Kyoji is a flyweight. He looks way better at this weight class. Again, the Royval Kopp winner is the matchup to make. That is clean title eliminator territory. I think that is the clear-cut fight to make. And depending on how Taira performs at UFC 323, let's say Taira and Pantoja both win, Kyoji versus the Royval Kopp winner could easily sit as a co-main or featured fight on a numbered Japanese card. You know, if they do a card in Japan and they want to do a big event, you have Taira and Pantoja as your main or co-main event, because obviously Taira is your Japanese guy. And then you could have Kyoji on the card as well. I think this is the perfect time to do something like that, you know, especially with the trend of doing a title eliminator with the title fight. I think it would make all the sense in the world.
Giants just went into overtime with the Lions, 27-27. On the first play of overtime, Gibbs 69-yard touchdown run. He has 264 yards and 3 tutties today.
Well, thank God I'm not playing him in fantasy.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
God, I'm not playing that brother in fantasy. But again, Kyoji Horiguchi, back to the topic, it's just pure chaos and skill wherever he goes. So it's huge having him back in the UFC flyweight mix. This was an awesome win to see, and he got $50K. Much deserved. Let's move on. Waldo Cortes-Acosta slumps Shamil Gaziev in the first round on 3 days' notice. Waldo Cortes-Acosta's comeback arc is insane. This dude went from being a running joke at heavyweight to suddenly looking like someone you actually need to take seriously. He gets poked in the eye against Delia.
Dude, he's
comes
insane.
back, flatlines him, then immediately turns around, fights Gaziev. Gaziev is a dangerous fighter. As much as he is a meme, he is a dangerous heavyweight, and he makes it look easy and fun. Like, it's just another day at the office.
Yo, shout out our boy Charles Dominicano. Soy, dude, Waldo's insane, bro. He took it on 2 days' notice, flew halfway across the world to Qatar, and knocked out Shamil Gaziev. Like, and he did it with ease, bro. It took him a minute and a half to do it. That's insane. It took him a minute, and he flew halfway across the world to fight for a minute and a half. That is actually crazy to think about.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he's up, bro. He's up soon. I mean, obviously he lost to Sergey, and Sergey is one of the better heavyweight fighters that we've ever seen, in my opinion. Considering, you know, heavyweight division's kind of, and it's not not great. It's not great. We'll put it that way. But dude, Waldo, I mean, he just shows up. That was his 5th fight this year. That's insane. And he wants to fight in December. Give it to him. Give it to the man. He deserves it. He literally fought for a minute and a half. He took no damage. Do it. Let him get it. I want to see him fight in December. Please, Dana, please hear his prayers. Hear my prayers.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but he might legit be 1 win away from a title fight. That's wild.
That's insane.
That is wild. Okay, so it's interesting you mentioned that. If Waldo really wants to jump back in, it would be December 13th in the Apex. He's not going to get on 323. Okay, y'all might disagree. If Waldo really wants to get back in there in December, I think it's going to be him versus Josh Hokett. I think Hokett is...
No.
That's just how it is, man. Volkov is not coming back in December.
I wouldn't let him take the fight then.
I think Hokett is the perfect layup to make that happen. I think Waldo beats him pretty
feel like he's too... Yes, I think Waldo definitely beats him, but I feel like he's too much to lose.
I mean, he had a lot to lose in the Ghazi. I wouldn't agree with... I don't think it should happen, but if you want to fight in December, this is kind of the only option that's going to be available for you. Now, I don't know what the inner workings are. That's just what I'm thinking. But if he decides to wait it out, which I think he should do, there's no need to rush yourself when you're 1 win away from a title fight. You know, you've already earned your way into the next title eliminator conversation. Let's do Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Volkov, after that,
I like that.
After that slow one in Abu Dhabi, he needs one more meaningful fight too. Just wait it out. Do Waldo versus Volkov. It makes things a lot easier. If he really, 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 really is dead set on getting the 6th fight in December, it's going to be Hokett. I'll just say that.
I don't like that. I don't like it. It's too...
He's going to have to fight down. That's the only way, like, someone will step up. But it's just like, I don't think any of the other contenders in his range, at least the ones that would make sense for a title eliminator, would be like, okay, yeah, December, let's do it. On short notice, you know? Especially when, you know, Waldo's a dog. He's definitely the BMF of heavyweight, and he's willing to do that. I don't know if any of the other contenders are.
All right. We'll take it. Dude is insane.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
But Waldo gets it done. 50K. Definitely deserved. Another first-round KO. We just kind of keep cycling through.
Please retire Jack Hermanson for your own safety and health. Please. Or just do BJJ.
I mean, we obviously had the concern with the cut to 170, and checks out, man. This was such a bad decision from Hermanson, even on a normal timeline.
I think it was a bad decision from the UFC to do this to him.
Well, he chose to go down to 170.
Yes, but you give him Muktabek Oralbai, he's a killer.
Yeah, but even on a normal timeline, it would have been questionable. But doing this cut right after getting nuked by RoboCop, like with that weight cut, a loss felt inevitable, and it felt totally avoidable. Give Oralbai credit, though. I mean, massive knockout, legit power. It's a guy who's going places. But let's be real. This was a massive, massive lapse in judgment from Hermanson and his team.
Mm-hmm.
They set themselves up for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I mean, I don't think this raises Oralbai's stock too much. And I don't think Jack Hermanson's stock right now can get any lower. He just suffered 2 brutal knockouts in a row. I think he needs to take some time off, like definitely for at least another 6 months. He already took probably about 6 months off from when he, oh my goodness, he took about 6 months off after getting knocked out by RoboCop, and I just don't know how much longer he can take these brutal beatings, if I'm being completely honest. He's getting older, and it's not gonna get any better for him if this is what keeps happening, in my honest opinion. So yeah, we'll see where he goes from here, but I think retirement is coming very soon. And not to be disrespectful saying he's bad, just I hate seeing people just suffer terrible knockouts over and over. Yeah, he needs it.
Well, again, we don't know what's right for him, but
Yeah,
we hope that's right for him.
yes.
But Arolbai is now 2-0 at welterweight in the UFC. He's 2-0 at welterweight because I believe his debut was welterweight. One more solid win probably gets him someone with a number next to their name. Let's do Muktabek Arolbai versus Punahele Soriano. I think Puna makes perfect sense here. 3-0 at welterweight, adjusted beautifully to the cut, has the momentum to match, and it's another situation for Arolbai where you have one guy that's cutting down to 170 and one guy that was moving up. But I think with the way, where both guys are at, whoever wins this will probably get that ranked opportunity. And
I agree.
They both deserve it, to be honest. So I would do Arolbai versus Puna.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Two heavy hitters too, so I'm expecting a finish in that one. Not like Puna's last fight where kind of just laid on Veretennikov, and he was disappointed in himself too. So give him a fun fight, let him prove himself, and if you can get Arolbai out of there, you might be looking at a ranking, my friend. A little
100%.
number next to your name.
Yeah, Arolbai got a huge win, even if his opponent was not 100%. Let's move on to our featured bout. Volkan Oezdemir, first round KO of Alonzo Menafield. He did it quick. Volkan looks better than ever. Blasted Menafield with a violent flurry, then knee to head, then just punished him until the ref had no choice.
Dominant. I mean, that flurry was crazy. I just felt bad for Menafield. He was trying to get out of there, and he was just like, "Oh no!" I like he just couldn't move. And it's always that one glancing punch that you don't think is going to hit you that crumbles you. And he crumbled him against the fence. Definitely what I was expecting to happen. We were telling you to take this fight to not start round 3. Barely got through half of the first round. Yeah. Didn't even get through half of the first round. So, yeah, I mean, it was just two heavy hitters, and Oezdemir always knew he had it. He just, sometimes gets a matchup where it's just a little more than he can chew. But I mean, Menafield, he's a dog. He has a very powerful chin. And the fact that Oezdemir was able to slump him like that, he wasn't out cold, but his knees buckled pretty bad. He was pretty damaged. So always nice to see a nice quick scrap like that. And congrats to Oezdemir for getting that done. So yeah, I was thinking of someone to match him up with, and someone that comes to my mind, and someone who just lost. Actually, would he be ranked? Oezdemir wouldn't be ranked, right?
Is he ranked?
He is ranked. All right, then give him Dominic Reyes.
Okay.
I like that.
I believe Oezdemir is number 9 in the rankings, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Let me check.
Yeah, he is number 9. Menafield was 14.
Where is Oezdemir? I mean, not Oezdemir, excuse me, Reyes.
Reyes should be like 7, right? Like around there.
He's 8.
Yeah.
I would give him that.
Right next to each other. Okay, I like where you're going with that. Obviously, this version of Volkan, he's dangerous again. Really dangerous. I like where you're going with the guy coming off a loss. I want Volkan Oezdemir versus Khalil Rountree next. That fight is more violence. Yeah, I do think I like that fight quite a lot, actually. And you guys know I'm a big Rountree fan, so this would be a treat for me. But it would be a scrap. It would definitely be a scrap. Either guy liable to knock the other out. For Menafield, I think he should fight Zhang Mingyang. I think that's a perfect test for both guys. It's the kind of brawl that Menafield loves to get into. Zhang Mingyang will welcome it. I think you do Menafield versus Zhang Mingyang, and I like Reyes. I like Volkan versus Reyes as well, but Volkan and Rountree would be, oh my God, that would be demolition.
That would be insane.
That would be so crazy. But a lot of options you go. I think Jamal Hill is also in that picture for Volkan. I think that's a fair name to throw out there, but there are very, very much different violent routes you could go with Volkan Oezdemir. And for what it's worth, if it was Volkan versus Reyes, I'm sorry, Dom. I think Volkan's putting him to sleep. I think it would be rough. It would be very, very rough. But Volkan showed out. The guy is still dangerous. The guy still has legit power at 205. Definitely a great performance. Let's move on to our co-main event. Belal Muhammad loses to Machado Garry by decision. Career best performance from Garry. This is the best I've ever seen him. He shut down every takedown. 0 for 7. Controlled the range. Sliced Belal up with the kicks. Beat him in every striking exchange that mattered. Second round was close, but I think Garry stole it late. The elbow inside was nasty. Belal could not land anything clean from outside. Garry is too long, too fast, too good defensively. This was the step he needed. Now, if we want to talk about what's next, and I'll kind of bring the whole lightweight situation into this. Look, we all know Paddy doesn't deserve a title shot, obviously. And Morales over Garry, yeah, no shock there either. In a perfect world, MMA would straight up be a meritocracy. And I know all you guys get that. But the UFC is not built on what's fair and what's not. It's built on money. This is a business first. It's a business before a fight promotion. They're always looking for the money maker. What is the fight that will sell the most pay-per-views? What's the fight that's going to sell the most tickets? A knockout machine who's actually fought his way up is just easier to sell than a guy who only pops when the UFC hands him a microphone. The difference between Conor McGregor and Ian Garry is Conor was getting the finishes. Conor was getting those highlight reel moments that were elevating him along with the mic skills. Garry just has the mic skills, and that's the issue. Morales at least has the highlight reel. Garry doesn't have that luxury. And yeah, Arman is absolutely more deserving than Paddy. But the UFC has never, ever made decisions strictly based on who deserves anything. When all things are equal, sure, but otherwise, the better seller wins every time. Paddy moves numbers. Honestly, so does Gaethje. Even though neither guy is half as deserving as Arman, you know? So if you guys want to keep believing this sport rewards merit every time, go ahead. But do not act surprised when it doesn't. Just save yourself that trouble. I don't think Garry is getting the next title shot. Neither do I think Arman is getting the next title shot. Do I think they deserve it? Yes. But frankly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Garry, great performance. Belal, pull the Belal. Nothing really else to say there. I mean, I was very impressed with Garry and his fight IQ and fight management. And I would just say it was what I expected. I thought that he was going to keep it a clean fight, fight at his pace and his distance and on his terms. And Belal, he just really wasn't able to deal with what Garry was throwing back at him. And he didn't do bad. It's just that he didn't do better than Garry. I feel like that's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, no, I agree with you this fight game doesn't really reward merit sometimes. It rewards names and how much money you're going to bring in for a specific fight. Which, sometimes I have a problem with that because I kind of want it to be merit-based, but other times I have to see where the company and, the promotions are coming from, because at the end of the day, you get graded on how much money you make, not who you put in that position. But, the person in that position could make you the money, but you need the name, the brand, the personality to do that before the actual fight even goes on. And sometimes you don't have that. So you kind of need to substitute out achievements and accomplishments for someone who might be funny and comedic and isn't the best, but they know how to work a crowd. And yeah, I don't think Ian Garry's getting the next title shot. I think that it's just a very loaded division right now and kind of sucks for him. And I think he's right there, though. Don't get me wrong. He's on the brink. It's just, I mean, you have Michael Morales winning. You have Protes in the mix. Him versus Protest could be a fun scrap. I don't think that he would do that because he'd be fighting down, and it's almost like he has nothing to gain. Yeah, he's already beat Protest. Oh, that is true. Sorry. I mean, I don't even think he'd fight Michael Morales because I feel like he has everything to lose and nothing to gain. That was kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to wait a little bit because it's just such a loaded division, and I don't think he's gonna get the next title shot. But someone I think should get the next title shot in their respective division. Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah,
that was right. Domination.
Yeah, I'll wrap up real quick, guys. If you're mad at us for saying this, I'll give you my order of welterweight contenders. I think Morales should still be getting the shot. If you want to do Morales Protez as your clear-cut title eliminator, do it. Garry does not sell. He just doesn't. He needs a finish. We laid it all out for you before the podcast. Go watch our previous videos. We said Garry needs to get a finish if he wants the shot. You made a great call out on the mic. Great call out.
Yep.
It's not going to happen for you, though. I just don't think it will. But hey, I'd be down to see Garry in Islam. You know, Ireland versus Dagestan 2.0 sells itself. And as for Belal, give him Kamaru Usman. They got to settle that beef eventually. If Gary's fighting another contender, I think it's going to be JDM. But let's move on here. Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker. Tsarukyan dominates. Chris, you said it. Arman looked unreal. This is the best version of Tsarukyan we've ever seen. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Very much agree.
Yeah, I think round one, he strikes well, shoots, gets caught in a deep guillotine. Hooker had that thing locked. Most guys tap. Arman spins out of it like a psychopath and ends the round in dominant top position.
Yep. He's so scary, bro. He did the same thing to Oliveira. He just acted like you weren't even choking him.
Right. And after that, he escaped that submission. The round ended. My dad was like, yeah, Arman's going to finish him in the second round. I'm like, yeah, he probably will. Round two, Hooker jumps another
nose ball.
No, 100%. Hooker jumps another guillotine in round two. Tighter than the first. Arman spins out again. Man is built different. He is built different. Once he passed, it was death. Smashed Hooker, slid him out, locked the arm triangle, finished him clean. I said submission all week. Second round, he did it. Arman Tsarukyan is the number one contender. No debate. I think his next fight will be for the belt. His next fight will be against the winner of Ilya and Paddy. Because I don't think they're going to go out of their... I think Ilya Paddy is being targeted for January. I don't think they're going to go out of their way to do Ilya Arman. They'll just say, all right, Arman, you don't have to fight again. You've done all you need to do. You've proved you made the weight. Nothing went wrong. Hey, the headbutt could have... If the headbutt was worse, that could have screwed everything for him. But he goes out, finishes Dan Hooker in the second round. But I think Ilya Arman will be an incredible matchup. Two monsters in their primes. It would be absolutely insane. 100%.
What did you say the opening line was, Shrikar?
Topuria minus 200 and Tsarukyan is plus 170. And you'd have to think as we get closer to the day those two fight, that line will get closer.
Those are pretty close odds for a fight of that magnitude. And yeah, I could already see some money coming in on Arman Tsarukyan. That is going to be so exciting. Please, UFC, just make this happen. Don't do Paddy, bro. He doesn't deserve it. Arman
he sells. He moves numbers. He sells.
He does. Yeah, we just talked about it. It's not merit based. It's who moves numbers. But the thing is, I think Arman versus Ilya could be a bigger fight and sell more numbers than Paddy versus Ilya.
I disagree. I don't think it will. Paddy is just known more worldwide.
I guess.
Than Arman. Even after this.
Scouts.
Yeah. Knock him out, lad. People just know Paddy. Like,
he was definitely screaming that at Luke Riley and Shem Rock last night.
Just knock him out, lad. Don't let him wrestle you.
That's actually a really good accent.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we can get into this too. The whole concept of Ilya Islam, I feel like we talk about it in, essentially every video. But I was kind of thinking about it last night.
Mhm.
Ilya Islam would be an incredible fight, amazing fight. But I think we should pump the brakes for a second. Look, Ilya Islam would be one of the biggest, most history-shifting matchups we've ever seen in modern MMA. These are literally the only two champs in years who have actually earned double champ status, no matter how the UFC wants to word it now. After their last wins, both guys held up some version of the lightweight belt. And honestly, their claims couldn't be more disputed. They're undisputed. They're combined 45-1, riding a 33-fight collective win streak. They each just dominated legit title-level opponents. But here is where I'm slamming the brakes on this matchup. Is this one fight, this 25 minutes or less thrill ride, really worth blowing up what the UFC has right now? Because both Ilya and Islam have a chance to be dominant champions in divisions that are absolutely stacked with talent. If they each stay put and do the work in their divisions, they've got waves of new challengers lined up for years. Look at welterweight. This might be the best that division has ever looked. JDM, Morales, Garry, Prates, Shavkat, Brady, Buckley. The list doesn't stop. It's a straight up Shark Tank. A bunch of those dudes could be champions in their own right. So what happens if Ilya versus Islam actually gets booked? Best case scenario, the division basically gets frozen for is right there. Topuria versus Paddy is a monster fight if the UFC wants it. Gaethje and Holloway are each one win away. And just look at UFC 323. Look at all the lightweight matchups on that card. That is a preview of all the young killers that are coming up in that division. And none of this gets better with Ilya Islam taking place. At the end of the day, again, we're talking about 25 minutes. And it might not even be an all-time banger. It could look like Islam versus JDM all over again, where one guy is clearly undersized and outmatched in the fight. Right now, with two divisions absolutely cooking, we risk losing at least one of them for a year or more. Is it worth it? Honestly, for me, probably not. And this is something that I had to come around to a little bit later. I don't think it's worth it to do it in 2026.
I don't either. I think that this is a fight that could happen 2 years down the road. Maybe 3 might be pushing it, but yeah, this is not a fight that needs to happen right now. These guys also have lines in their own division that they need to take care of. I think it would just be very compromising to everyone else in lightweight and welterweight if the UFC just says, all right, screw all you guys who are waiting. We have this sick title fight that we want to do. And guess what? If Ilya has to vacate and then move up, if he loses, guess what? He's coming back and he's instantly fighting for the title. So now someone is getting put in the doghouse for absolutely no reason because the UFC wants to make a crazy money grab. And I understand that it's going to be a historic matchup of immense magnitude, but at the same time, you kind of have to look at everyone else that this is affected, that is affected by this. It's going to be a chain reaction. It's not just these two fighters. It's the 10 other fighters that are, waiting in line to fight for a title. And you can't just have them fight each other forever. They need a shot eventually, and you need to keep the line moving. It's like a well-oiled machine. Like once you kind of put a halt to it, it's hard to get it back going again. So yeah, I so agree with you. I think that this fight can definitely wait. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe even in the future, things will change. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll even be a better fight. Maybe we'll see a little bit more from Ilya in the grappling department and the wrestling department and things like that. Even though I don't think he has to, I'd probably like to see that though and see more of his all-around tools that I know he has because he came into the UFC as a grappler by trade and said, I have Canelo hands. Shout out Belal. But yeah, no, I mean, it's it's not a must. And I think everyone's kind of pushing it that this needs to happen as soon as you can make it happen. And I'm kind of nervous that they might set this up for the White House. I really think so. If they don't have a big card, like if they don't have a huge main event, I think they're just going to throw out Ilya versus Islam, and that's going to be the White House card in June and or July. June? No, July.
June, I believe.
June, yeah. So, I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm not going to lie, because I think that's something that they would do. So,
yeah, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense right now. I want to see these divisions move, and
exactly, and it needs to move. Like it's not. Also, I know the UFC doesn't care about fair, but it's really not fair to the top 5 fighters in each of those divisions who are scratching and clawing their way to a title shot, and now you just say, yeah, you gotta wait longer, when in reality they really don't have to. It's just they would just mess everything up, and I think that's just bad business integrity. And I could see a lot of fighters really being mad at that. And the UFC's never the UFC fighters are never going to unionize, because that just wouldn't work, like statistically and in terms of probability. But fighters could band up, man. Like if a lot of fighters speak out about something specific, that could force change. So I don't know. I think that the UFC just needs to stay the course they're at right now and let these fights occur naturally rather than forcing them to happen. Like if it happens organically, I think we'd be in for a much better treat than the UFC just saying like, hey, Ilya, get over here, bro. Get over here. You're fighting Islam now.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what they want to do, frankly. Like,
yeah,
I think it's in the UFC's best interest too to just have both divisions flow, get the contenders out the way, and both of these guys can separately build their own legacies. I think that's the biggest part of it.
I agree. So agree.
So me and Chris are on that train of just pumping the brakes on Islam Ilya. Before we close out the show, who's next for Dan Hooker?
I loved what he said, Moicano.
Yeah, hey.
Me and Moicano lost. Moicano got dominated by Islam. I got dominated by Arman.
We both suck.
We both stuck. Let's fight.
Hey, that was so funny. Dan Hooker never changed, man. I'd like to see him in a more violent fight. I want to see Hooker versus BSD.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, put him against the God of War.
Yeah, if they rebook Gaethje and Hooker too, I wouldn't be mad at that. And obviously that's the win Gaethje needs. I feel like everyone needs to get the win over Dan Hooker to just put themselves in title contention.
He might be the ultimate gatekeeper now.
Yeah, we're starting to get to that point.
I want to smash your face in again.
Yeah, there's no other really like gatekeeper type guy in lightweight among the ranked. Benil Dariush maybe, but like Dariush just
nah, bro can't be a gatekeeper. He keeps getting destroyed.
He just keeps losing. He beat Moicano, but even Moicano dropped him in that fight. It's like, but yeah, man, caps off what was an amazing fight night. In my opinion, the best fight night of the year. UFC Qatar was incredible. It was awesome being there in person. My picks were on fire, 11-3. I think all 3 of us really cooked on this card, and the fights delivered from top to bottom. So next week is an off week for the UFC, but we might still be cooking. Now, obviously, I'm on vacation, so my time is kind of limited and strapped at the moment. But Chris wants to give you something. Maybe he'll stream. Maybe he'll drop a video. But then
comment down below. What do you want me to do? I'll put out some content for you guys. I'm down to stream.
And also let us know in the comments, do you think Garry should get a title shot? Do you think Sarukian should be next for Ilya? Do we skip over Paddy and Ilya entirely? What do you think about Islam Ilya?
Yeah.
Should we do it? Like,
I'm also expecting more UFC 323 news this week. So we get some big fight announcements. I'd definitely be willing to go live and talk about that with you guys. Say again?
You mean 324, right?
Yes, 324. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I agree. I think the main event could be announced very, very soon. I think it will be announced this week. My prediction is Paddy versus Ilya, but we'll see what Uncle Dana announces. And if you don't have anything to say about any of those topics we just mentioned, just drop a W for the algorithm. We appreciate you all. Love you guys. UFC 323, the week after this one, we'll be right on it. But this week is kind of that off week. So we'll see if we can come up with some content. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Again, we appreciate y'all. Follow the socials down below. Thank you for tuning in and hopping in the war room with us. We will see you guys in the next one.